Hey y'all, so I am back with the video for you guys today, and today I'm going to be a story time video. And today's story time is going to be about the time when I found out I was pregnant and how I told my mom I was pregnant. So this is going to be an interesting video. So okay, I was 16 years old and I was in the 10th grade. Okay, so I'm gonna start off with how I found out I was pregnant. Well, I was sexually active, so I knew there was a possibility of it happening. But was talking to this guy, and we had been talking for a minute, and we were of course having sex, having unprotected sex. And after we had unprotected sex so many times, it was just like, oh, I'm not gonna get pregnant. It's not me. It's not gonna happen to us. Well, one weekend I had went by him and his family, and I spent the weekend with them, and we had a good time and everything. But I started feeling sick, and I was just like, I know I'm not getting sick. Like, what's going on? My body just feels weird. So I didn't think nothing of it. I just kept on doing what I was doing or whatever. So I went back home, and I still was not feeling good, and I was just like, something is wrong. Like, I know my body, something is wrong. So I did miss my period. I missed my period, but it was like maybe like 3 or 4 days. But at that time I wasn't really keeping track of my period, and like I didn't have a calendar where I wrote down, and my periods were kind of irregular, so it wasn't a big deal for me to be 3 or 4 days late. So I was like, okay, I'm gonna go ahead and take a pregnancy test. Y'all, I got the pregnancy test, and I took the pregnancy test, and I mean, as soon as I took the pregnancy test, it was clear as day, positive. And my heart started beating so fast. I was just like, oh my god, what the fuck am I going to do? Like, this cannot be. Like, I am only in the 10th grade. I'm only 16 years old. I'm not ready for no child, and especially not with him. I mean, we had been together, like I said, for a minute, but I was just like, we're too young to have a baby. Like, this is just not what I had planned. And so I was freaking out, and I was like, I'm not going to tell nobody. I'm not going to tell my mom. I'm just like, what am I going to do? So I went about, well, okay, I texted him and told him that I needed to talk to him, and he called me. So we were talking on the phone, and I was just like, I'm pregnant. He was like, what? And I was like, I'm pregnant. So he didn't really say too much, so at that point I didn't know how he was feeling, or what was on his mind, or what was going on. So he was just like, what are we gonna do and stuff like that, because I was in school, he was in school too. Well, he was back and forth out of school. He was I'm not sure if you guys know, if you like in the Houston and Texas area, I know you guys know about what was it, I forgot what it's called, but it's like a school that you go to, and they help you get your GED or your degree or whatever you want. It's in St. Marcos. I cannot think of the name for the life of me, but yeah, if I remember the name, I would insert it for you guys, so so you can know what I'm talking about. But anyways, he was getting ready to go there, so he started going there or whatever, and he was just like, wait, I want you to tell my mom. And I'm just like, what? He was like, I want you to tell my mom. I'm like, why do you want me to tell your mom when you're there with her? Why can't you just go sit her down and talk to her and explain to her, what's going on? So he did not want to tell her. So I was like, look, she has to know. So, and I'm not gonna tell mama first, so we have to tell somebody. So I went and I texted his mom, and I told her, I was like, hey, I need to tell you something. I need to talk to you about something. And she was just like, what do you need to talk about? And I just told her, I was like, look, I'm pregnant. And she was just like, oh girl, I already knew. And I was like, She was like, I already knew. And I'm like, what do you mean you already knew? She was like, oh, I had a dream and everything. I was just waiting on y'all to come tell me. And I was just like, really? So I was like, that wasn't as hard as I thought it was going to be with her. The hardest part was going to be telling my mom I was pregnant. I was just like, how am I going to tell her? Like, I didn't know how she was going to react because of the fact that I am her oldest child, so I would be having her first grandchild. And I mean, I never really talked to her about me having sex. I think she had an idea of me having sex, but why am I lying? She knew I was having sex. She knew. We just didn't really talk about it, you know? So how I ended up telling her was, one day it was just me and her in the house. We were just laying around chilling, and I had the pregnancy test like up underneath the blanket because I was laying on the couch with the blanket, and I had it underneath the blanket. And I was texting one of my friends at the time, and I was just like, I'm finna tell my mom, I'm so scared, I'm so nervous, I don't know what she's gonna do, how she's going to react, like, I'm nervous. And so I kept like looking at her, and I look down and I look away, and I look at her and I look down and I look away. So I finally was like, hey mom, I need to tell you something. And she was like, what? I was like, well, me and Tommy, that's my baby's father's name. I was like, me and Tommy need to tell you something. And she was like, what, you pregnant? And I was just like, yeah. And she was like, what do you mean? And I was like, I'm pregnant. And she's like, how do you know that you're pregnant? And I was like, well, I took 2 pregnancy tests and I'm pregnant. And so I gave her a pregnancy test, and she looked at them, and she was like, she just looked at me and she just shook her head. And so she was like, how long have you known that you were pregnant? Why didn't you tell me anything? Or why didn't you come to me and tell me that you was having sex and all this other stuff? And I'm just like, I really don't know, to be honest. So she was like, I'm gonna make you a doctor's appointment. We're going to the doctor, and I'm gonna tell his mom and all this other stuff. And I'm just like, she already knows, we told her. And I was just scared to tell you because I didn't know how she was going to react. I was kind of shocked because she didn't really like freak out how I thought she was going to freak out. Like, I could tell that she was mad, but she wasn't just like, you know, oh, I'm gonna kick you out, all this other kind of stuff. Like, it wasn't nothing like that. So I was kind of glad that it didn't happen like that, because if she would have been, I don't know how I would have handled it if she would have been acting crazy, like, because we both have bad attitude problems and anger problems, so that would have not been well. So yeah, that's my story time about me finding out I was pregnant and me telling my mom that I was pregnant. If you guys want any more story times, please like this video, subscribe, and give this video a thumbs up, and also leave it down in the comment section below. And I will definitely get around to making another video for you guys. And also, I'm going to be recording a couple of videos tonight, so if you see this outfit and this makeup look, then just know that's why. So yeah guys,